So what I also tried to do, and I don't think it's saved here, was also I like to use what is it? I like to use Twitter to also look for verifications of what people are saying. Sometimes I have to go to Google, but normally people will tweet about it on Twitter. I mean, that's what Twitter's evolved into now, a sort of like a news, political, social media where Instagram's more lifestyle, Facebook's more family, friends, LinkedIn professional, etc. Okay, so it says here that each is connected, but don't chat.
I guess for you to get in here, you need to mute. You need to mute my video.
No,
from my side.
my understanding is that I can't mute your video. You both are presenters
Audio.
at the moment. I can't. No, but I can't mute audio or video.
As it doesn't keep.
Okay, Ian's got video. I think audio now working. Okay, let me just adjust one thing before I go live because then we can see all our faces.
You can acquire video audio.
Well, Ian's got video on. You can put your video on. So for me, I need to keep my bandwidth at a certain limit. So I'm gonna keep it off for now. But my audio I'm gonna be on. But this isn't about me. This is about certain journalists having a discussion about the lockdown locally and nationally as well. But yeah, I'll shot to discuss things. But okay, we are live. Let's go. I can see you.
Loud and clear.
Can you not see Ian? He's under Toshiba.
No.
Okay. Okay, so now you are the main camera.
All right.
What I think it does is it will jump to whichever voice is active. Just get my camera to stand properly. Yeah.
Perhaps make your cam on as well.
Sorry, tripod's in trouble. I have to plug this with. Okay. This is my camera, but I'm switched off. I said I'm downloading and uploading. So
yeah, but it's on. It's on from my side.
Oh, you saw my camera, but like
yeah, just pop up. Just pop up now.
Okay, guys, how are you? We live. I've seen one journalist. Yes, let's please talk about lockdown. Don't mind introducing yourselves. Ian says you've got headphones on, right?
Same here.
Okay, how are you, Ian? How are you doing? Costume soft. So, like I was saying, you can use the WhatsApp group where we have a common viewpoint. I was playing with the software yesterday. I'll show you some. Option 2, the polling we discussed. No bandwidth. Okay, so he's also having. Okay, you hear me now?
Loud and clear. But you're not on video, huh?
I'm keeping my video off for now. See, I'm getting.
And Ian is not.
Like, well, getting frame rate drops. So I'm trying to keep my upload speed as minimal as possible.
I don't seem to see Ian as well.
It's having
Oh,
no problem. I think his audio you can still hear.
I'm here. So
Where are you from?
I'm here.
Sorry,
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. And you're in Zim at the moment.
Yes, I'm here at the moment. I'm in
Okay.
area.
And then how things going there with your lockdown? Because I know there's been problems with the healthcare system. Mistaken,
Hello.
been food shortage issues as well. What's the situation at Zim?
As for Zimbabwe, a lot of and medium enterprises facing a lot of challenges because of how he has got a lot of small and social small media. Are you following me?
I'm mistaken.
I'm saying our economy has got a lot of small and medium businesses which live from hands to mouth, and due to that, we have seen a lot of businesses feeling the heat. The greatest story is that how are these people going to survive since the president today extended the lockdown. That's the challenge that Zimbabwe is facing right now.
The time set for your lockdown to end.
The lockdown has been extended by 2 weeks, which will be ending on the 30th of May next week. In 2 weeks,
Yeah,
that is
same with
40 days. So the greatest challenge is that Zimbabwe is having is that the people fear that they might die of hunger if this continues because they are living from hand to mouth. That's the situation that we are facing.
What's the government doing?
The government has actually promised to give small and medium enterprises some money. There has been at least 1 million been allocated for that, but it hasn't been distributed yet. And
That was my
if
next
they are late
question.
in that,
I mean, I'm looking at some things from government as well, tourism, and see that there's a lot of paperwork that you have to fill out. So I don't know how they're gonna kind of know who gets what and how, and sure that there's enough. I think it's either in Nigeria or Kenya, there's been a lot of violence for food. I think that's a worry we face at the that are getting.
yeah, things like that normally could be predicted to be happening in Africa because we've got a growing number of small enterprises that have not yet grown into full business that can support for maybe 3 months without income. So when a shutdown goes for at least a month, you'll start seeing challenges doing that. I have seen even in Malawi, already people were demonstrating against that sort of things. Although in Malawi there is also a challenge of elections that they think that government will take advantage of that regulation.
I think some of continents has had some less problems as well. I think crops, it's actually been the biggest in many years.
Hello?
Aye. Sorry, did you not catch what I said?
I didn't get that.
Okay, I was saying that there's locusts, and I'm just also start using the group a bit. The locusts that are devastating Africa. It's in Kenya or Nigeria. So just go to the
Oh, yeah. The northern part of the central part of the East Africa.
thing is that this is another problem that's going to cause cause a food crisis as well. So
Yes, those are some of the challenges that
so the link I just sent now in the group is the live stream. Just send this locust thing. It's discussing. So a very important topic to bring up now because as time goes by, it's going to be a bigger issue. And Kumza and I were saying earlier that the worry is that lockdown might be extended beyond the 2 weeks that we've had extra.
yeah.
Okay, so this is the locust one stories. And the reason why I also want to just put things in the group is that also we do a bit of fact checking as well because this is where we kind of dissect and analyze not just the stories that media miss, but so critique them as well. Some of the coverage, I think, good, some bad, and I think Zim is a very interesting case because of the situation that it's been in the past couple of years.
Yeah, Zim is very, very much interesting. Because if you look at Zimbabwe, before even the shutdown, there were already problems regarding its economy. So when the lockdown happens, it will be worsened.
But
And another challenge with Zimbabwe again that we face is malaria. It's been with malaria at the same time. COVID-19 is hitting the country, so that's another challenge that we face.
so looking here, there's 30 people die from malaria, COVID-19 pandemic. Just that source. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot to worry about. South Africa. See, yeah, there's this week 1,690 malaria cases, 70 deaths. Yeah, I have to mention that.
But not that bench. Have you checked the check
Mr. Kumza, okay, I think it's your turn to.
Yes, Nico, I'm here.
So Northwest started looking. Just had some updates from Zim.
Nick, thanks for having me, Nick. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, I want to try to do it every Sunday. I want to grow it. You can get the person per province, or from province. That's wonderful. But I think consistency is very important. So I think Sunday is a good day for people who want to watch the carte blanche and facts and all that.
Yeah.
So, and it's also
yeah.
But okay, how's Zim look? How's Northwest looking?
Kind of like things are fine for now, I can say. Not much is out of line as per regulations, I can say. But just a few things that are just one or two things that you get to see along the shops, where you got to see quite a number of people doing shoppings at the same time, other outlets not adhering to the laws as such. And then I happened to be one of the pharmacy 2 days ago for a vaccine, flu vaccine. The staff there, I happened to saw plus minus 5 of them. None of them had mask on them. Kind of like exactly get to worry as who then must take this regulation so seriously. Then you get to see people like people that work at the pharmacy just don't put mask.
Up here in Joburg, they wearing visors. Let me just Google and find a picture of it. So, picture of Ukraine, but I don't think they wear masks, but do wear the visors.
Yeah.
I think it's. I've approached some shops and they first said it's the WHO who said that you must not wear a mask, and they've changed since that, WHO. But I think it's now commonplace. So it's sad that they taking so long to do that. But I'm sending it in the WhatsApp group here. The third or the middle and the third picture, those visors that I'm talking. I think this is going to be standard now. I mean, even the way you have your sunglasses on now, all you're missing is your mask.
Yeah.
Because then all your eyes, your mouth, are all protected. The droplets.
Yeah, it should be.
Now look, it's going to be the new normal, because it's some estimates. I don't know the estimated, but they're going to say it's going to go on for a couple of years in terms of the social distancing, careful. The lockdown, that's, I think someone sent it in the group. So Ramaphosa was joking, saying he didn't say which year it will end.
Okay.
It's interesting video that leaked, but I saw it on other places, just in our group. So look, I think got a bit of an idea of what's happening. Places will even up in Johannesburg and hardly go out. Just once a week just to get food. But I think things will happen first in Joburg and Cape Town, urban themes, and then filter to the northwest and other places. But I think Zim, there's, I think the media has probably kept a lot of people in the dark. I don't know. I'd assume.
Yeah, but here in Northwest, what we tend to see, even these supermarkets, they're actually adhering to the rules. You've got to join the line, and if not the line is too long, you've got to find chairs where they actually separate it like per meter aside before you can even enter the shop. And it's like they're actually doing one customer in, one customer out. So, which is equally well. And I've seen even over the tills, they've put a frame cover that actually protects the tailors, till operators, not to be direct in contact with customers that they pay. That's including your
Lot of people in the dark.
your speed point. Come again?
What I think is going to be very interesting, that when you buy your stuff as well, you don't know who's handled it. And I'm not just talking about the speed point paying,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
who packed the other stuff. So they checking this, because let's say you take something home that might have contaminated, and it's not really a food item, but I heard there was a story of government officials that apparently got affected documents. So if it happened, it will not happen if you're buying toilet paper. It's something similar, where you go to shops, you take something, wearing a mask, etc. You get home and you accidentally touch something that someone that you've never ever met contaminated. That's something that I think people are going to be afraid of sooner or later once they kind of realize that. They haven't tried.
Yeah. But
So
one thing also, Nick, you get to see when you walk into the shop, supermarket, it's not each and every item that you just pick at once. At one time, people they've got this pleasure to pick and choose. You know, see what I mean? Just like trolleys, people get to pick up certain parcels and put them back, which is quite another trend that is still not yet been focused on. Because if I've got to walk into a supermarket and try and pick up a packet of sweets, and eventually I've got to choose between three, then I take three and put back twice, what is going to happen to the next person? Which means it also goes back to the guy that does pack the parcel packing as much as the one that are filling up the shelves. So it's quite a hectic stuff. It's quite sometimes if you look at it at a close range, it feels like we're not doing enough. People are somehow left behind in this case. Surely it should be good enough that you've got to pick a packet of milk on the fridge. Should be just a packet of milk, not twice, 3 times. Then you come back and drop the other one and you go.
I think what they also need to do is figure out how they can train the staff that are in the store. From my thoughts, this is where we need to upskill and think ways how we evolve as an economy. But surely you can also, people that work in the store, if you can email, WhatsApp, whatever, your shopping list, put it into a box, they can collect it for you. It's ready. This is your reference number, whatever. This is what the bill is. You can EFT it, whatever, pay in advance. Get there, you just pick it up, you go. That should be a way and this thing. I know there are countries in the world where it's almost when you get to the till, you'll pay for yourself. There's no middleman. So you pick what you need, get to the till, you pay, and you go. It's sort of self-service, but I think this is a point where self-service won't work. Like you said, self-service will cause extreme or lack of social distance. Self-thing was, people will pick and choose and all this stuff. I think even fruit, the way fruit used to or does sit out in the open, they're gonna have to change it. If someone coughs or sneezes but accidentally, it's gonna cause problems. Okay, so my thing is saying low network quality.
Yeah, but we can hear you loud and clear. Okay, but then there's another interesting matter in this case, Nick. You gotta have these guys that are evicting people in the shacks across the country. These sort of like red ants. These guys actually coming in. They're coming in numbers. They're actually around 300, which means already the regulations are actually not adhered. For starters, you can't come in 300 at a total number of 300 only to actually bring down like 13 shekels or 100 shekels. It doesn't make sense. How is the social distance? Yes.
No, you're right about that. I mean, I pointed to someone Twitter, what I reversed it because South Africa started their Twitter account. They posted stuff where they said it's illegal to evict.
Yeah, but it's happening today, actually in Lodi, next to Orange Farm. If you look around, you see it's all over the Twitter. Some red ants actually bringing down to quite a number of shacks, and people are actually out on the street actually protesting over the demolition of those shacks. But what is now is on the other side, the local authorities are simply saying you need to keep a social distance. How do you then keep a social distance on shack dwellers when you don't keep social distance on red ants, which is quite a concern. So we're running circles here.
Not finding it
in Lowly. Lowly is just between Orange Farm and Everton.
Red ants. 40 minutes ago, yeah, got it. Just search red ants. I took Orange from and it's only one. So
It should be Lowly. LAWLWLYE.
100% right. Got it. So there we go. I've seen something in the group.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So going to no. I wish I don't think mainstream media know about this. I think they must be so exhausted from all the work.
Yeah.
Learning curve for many people, just government. Okay, so yeah. And I've actually put Twitter on the screen now. Yeah, 6 hours ago. Okay, Power FM got it.
Which one? Power FM.
6 hours ago they got it. So yeah, look, it's been yeah, completely right. I've got it on the screen, yeah.
Okay.
Social
What's the
distancing.
capacity? What's the estimated capacity of those protesters from what you're looking like versus the 300 red ants?
It's definitely more than 500. Same video. Yeah, there's even a JMPD big truck. Oh. Very interesting. Been offline most of the day, so let's see if how far away is this from you?
It's quite far, man. I mean, look, we're talking about Orange Farm. Orange Farm is in Val, just east of Soweto.
No, but I mean, nice farm. It's good with eyes open. Look, you don't by any chance have any voice notes from people in the area that can give us?
I'll drop a video from the Twitter video that I'm just gonna drop it on the group.
Okay, I think I might have sent links there, but I've got this. This is from the 16th year in Arale. See that they also have caterpillars as well. Brought to the ground at Swat side.
What do they have there?
This is the 16th year. 16, 40, almost 41. Destroying with a track. So now they look here, it's day 16th, the 17th, days the 19th. Here's 7 hours. So
I'm gonna throw that video. I'm gonna send that video straight.
this is your watch during. Please do the visible. I think I need to redesign the screen. So I think it's safer to just fire in. So yeah, look, there's even. This is the picture that I was talking. Regulations. to WhatsApp. That's the same one.
Is that the same one?
There's another video that I'm just looking at you now.
The one that I just posted in.
No, this is a different one.
Open that link that I just put it in on the group. You can see this one that I just put it on the group.
No, I've seen. I posted the same one. Perfect. But here's another one. I don't know why this is happening. This is actually sad. Ian, are you still there?
Yeah, Ian is still there. I can see.
Oh, look, I wanted to ask Ian, so the police have they been a bit aggressive at all? Ian?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Listening.
Have the police been in some?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, in South Africa, the police have been given a bit of a hard time. The military as well.
Yeah. There's been a lot of reports about this being aggressive. This has resulted in a court case that, yes, there is a lot of reports of police aggressively attacking citizens. And this has resulted in a court case where, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes, I can. I can hear you all.
Great. Yeah, the Supreme Court 2 hours ago. Court ruling
So
already.
what is happening in Zimbabwe is that police. So yeah, thank you.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in that. Yeah. So the police case has gone to the court, and the courts actually stopped the police from using force in trying to stop the citizens from doing their duties, because the citizens go for shopping, they go to get some services like health in this crisis. So there's been a lot of some challenges between the police and the citizens. And then there's also been a court case that is still pending between the police and the journalists. The journalists harassed doing their duties on the ground. So it has gone again. So the journalists have approached the court with that case. And this has resulted again in the police countering case by actually saying the journalists are not an essential service. So we are waiting to hear the court case, how it goes, how it is going to go.
For the best, because I think given the history of how freedom of speech has been suppressed in certain countries, but it's an interesting case. Just found a link here as well. It says here Zimbabwe accused assaulting from it's from the 6th earlier this month. It's AFP story. In terms of your Zim's relationship with China, do you think it's a good or a bad relationship? Yeah. You know, you there?
Hello?
I was asking your relationship with China. How good is it as a country with China?
Yesterday, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has called Zimbabwe. In terms of that relationship, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has said that welcomed the response from the Chinese authorities after the Chinese had said that Zimbabwe, after the Chinese had counter-attacked, after the Chinese had counter-attacked.
See, it's a news story as well that Gift Fury has died. Journalist Gift Fury has died. Assistant at the end
Hello?
of Zimbabwe. Hi, I'm just reading here that Gift Fury has died as
Yeah, I think I'm now big.
yeah, fairly
So
new story.
I was saying that after what happened, after what happened to African, after the racism that has been taking place in China, the Minister of Foreign Affairs responded in Zimbabwe has responded by saying the Chinese authorities' response to that situation. Well, the Chinese had already decided that Zimbabweans were actually in health services are also to of chasing away Chinese who coming to get essential services. Well, that's how it happened. So the Minister of Foreign Affairs later on issued a statement actually saying welcome the response after the Chinese authorities actually said they are going to look into
Because I don't know if you guys also have heard how African people in China have been discriminated against.
Yes, we have heard of that. So the minister, so the Chinese authorities, Chinese embassy in Zimbabwe counter accused the Zimbabweans, the health, especially the health system, of also doing the same. They said there were also reports of racism whereby the Chinese themselves were being chased away from the health services in Zimbabwe. That's how we counter.
This is happening in Zim, right?
Hello?
There's the extension for you guys in Zim, 2 weeks, but mining will fully resume.
Yes, mining is resumed. But there was already mining happening. Mining was already happening, especially in gold and coal. Because coal is already an essential service based on that most of our electricity comes from the thermal power station, which is powered by coal. So they already operation, and
So,
then the gold miners were
as your
operation. So maybe
electricity and water,
yeah,
sorry,
the
man, I just
Wange
want to
power
ask.
station. Yes,
Yeah,
continue. Yes, continue.
continuing to. Okay. Well, we've been lucky. Kumza, your energy, your ESCOM electricity has been good to you so far.
No, everything so far so good. We haven't had load shedding for quite some time. It should be now. This is if not a month and a half. We haven't had load shedding like since the previous month, which is, to me, it makes sense. In any case, remember, Nick, there's no way you can have load shedding now. Vice versa, is to say most of the companies are closed. So why would we have a high consumption of power when the companies are closed? So which means it is quite fitting to have no load shedding at all. I wouldn't find any reason to have load shedding at this time of point, because therefore it actually does not make sense. Because remember, all we had was to be told generators are succumbing to high demand of, but there's no high demand of power as like now. So surely the issue of load shedding is a non-starter.
Well, I think there have been reports that there might be load shedding. Just going to.
Probably that was before the lockdown, I suppose. Remember the load shedding was said to be, we were going to be updated as it happens. So surely ESCOM, they should be on top of their game. Like now, they haven't done any upload whatsoever in their website, which means, plus again, man, it's equally fitting. We can't have load shedding now. Remember, the countries that stand still. What would be the effect of having load shedding?
I don't know if you know the parody account on Twitter, advocate Barry Rue. Saying
Yes.
he tweeted 8 hours ago. Saw another tweet above this that we should brave ourselves as soon will last for over a year. So
Load
I
shedding.
think, yeah, there have been reports that there's load shedding. If the equipment fails, at the moment everything seems to be working, but anything could happen accidentally. Something could fail and then disrupt the system. But agree with you where you say that companies aren't demanding much as they normally. However, winter is coming, so people are going to be using more heating things, which might, burden the system. But what scares me is, and there's already been fires in informal settlements. That's what scares me, because you talk about the red ants taking people's homes. Fire will be just scary, if not more so, than the red ants if the accidents where people try to feed themselves.
But remember, Sean, do you remember, Nick, most of the fire that happens in most of our shacks literally happens through things like you and put off, like your candle lights, your paraffin stove and stuff. Like, it's not exactly electricity in a sense.
No,
Yes.
I know. But
so which means
I
yes,
agree
Nick?
with you, but what I'm getting at is that it's another concern for the whole lockdown environment, is that those people who do not have the electricity available to them, if something goes wrong, how do they look after themselves during lockdown? That's the point that I was getting at.
Yeah.
I think it's another thing. Because government, I think they've amended everything a few times, but I don't think they've looked at every aspect of South Africa. And Zimbabwean government, I assume, is the same as well.
Yeah. In terms of energy in Zimbabwe, a lot of people are reporting that those load shedding.
There's been a bit of
winters.
rain in Joburg, but the dam, I think, was just about 50%. So it's electricity, rain, internet. These are things that if something goes wrong, it's going to be very difficult to keep people happy, other than food being the most basic necessity.
Another matter that was of a concern was the food parcels, Nick. We've seen quite a lot of challenges over this issue of food parcels. Remember, there is a hotline that people need to call to get food parcels. Some of these numbers, they just don't work if not neglected. Because remember, yes, you've got people trying to call those kind of numbers on simple, very low rate of airtime, if not this little airtime that you get to struggle to get around, only to find out before you could phone gets picked up, it's gone. So I would, if the suggestion to say maybe they would have actually designed this call line to actually accommodate toll-free cell phones, because almost every 1 in 3 out of 3 persons has got a cell phone.
Yeah.
So it would probably make sense. Then if you say toll-free to a cell phone to cell phone, it makes sense, because even almost everybody has cell phones now. Why would you still have toll-free that's actually eligible to landlines? Whereas when you call them on cell phone, you've got to pay money. So it doesn't make sense. Surely something has to be done there. Something has to be changed, or at least somebody has to tie those lines before they put them into practice and see if exactly they work. I don't know if anybody's ever tried them before. We have tried them several times. All you get is a voice note that's going to run until you drop dead or you lose your airtime anyway. So it does not make sense. Really, they need to put to test and see these lines are being picked up. If it's not, then they must find out why are these calls not being answered. Otherwise, then they must make sure each and every network has to go through to that line is like a toll-free cell phone to cell phone. That's it. Forget about lane lines. Nobody has lines now. Anyway.
There's another point with that, is that some political parties, and I'm not too sure, I just saw it on YouTube, they've also been politicizing food parcels, buying political points now instead of actually focusing on people. So back to your point, they're more worried about creating value for themselves, marketing their brand in political and actually feeding people. It's actually very sad that they don't have a WhatsApp number. Maybe they do, but I think it might be a bot, because that's quite big now. But WhatsApp number, you get a response, your name, your address, your ID number, your cell phone number, all of those things. On my one number, I get SMS from government every now and then. So, based on the election, I assume that's how they have our numbers. And if they have our numbers and our ID numbers, they can then see people's ages. They can start with the most vulnerable, though.
Yeah.
Can't stand in queues and start with them. Start with the people that are retirement age and deliver the food to them first, because they can't get to the shops as easily as younger people. And they're the most vulnerable. That's what we're told.
Yeah.
Sick people hit the hardest. I think I've seen that the virus has mutated. Young people that have been taken down. But the people that are most vulnerable, that look at when they're making the grants for the SASA cards a few weeks ago, there's a lady that passed away in the line.
Yeah.
And even the point that I was making about the shopping systems is that there needs to be a way of evolving skill building. Take people and say, instead of scanning things now when the customer comes, you're going to get a message from your manager, shopping list, this is what you need, this is what you get, etc. It needs to happen in the private sector and government. We are going to be a bit smarter, because if you're going to preach social distancing, it's also come with practical solutions that will actually help the economy, stimulate it.
Yeah, those numbers I've just posted on the group there. If you're not checked on the group, I've just posted those numbers there. If anybody that says there's numbers and try and call those numbers as the province from a cell phone, just put it a good try and say, you know, try and dial on all those numbers. You'll see exactly how much irritation you get out of that, because it means nobody's ever bothered to try those numbers. If it can be the matter that is they put high volumes of incoming calls. But if it is ringing, surely someone must pick it up. As long as if it's ringing, someone should pick up the call. But then it goes straight to the automatic machine, and then it's going to put you on voice notes until your cell phone is done, your airtime is done.
No, look, it's it was trending a day or two ago. The UJ students were a bit unhappy with how UJ has implemented their online system. There's a lot of people in more rural areas where the internet isn't that good, and then the cost of data, similar to what you talked about. So, there were some posts from UNISA students, and I agree on both sides that the UNISA people do this all the time, use their mobile devices, write tests, and so on. However, the UJ students aren't wrong to be worried about writing a test with weak and expensive internet connections. So it's now time for the government to actually step up and say, how do we move to the digital economy in all parts of South Africa? This is now the opportunity. It will save lives and will help to evolve the economy. Because I mean, something like Amazon, we've got Takealot here in South Africa, but Amazon I think is far bigger. In some parts of the world, they have drone deliveries, so there's no human-to-human interaction. It creates that issue that you're talking about with people touching things. So if you have that technology in your country, you can order things from Amazon, and it gets delivered to your front door via a drone. Which is incredible technology, but that is possible. And I'm not saying we need to get to the drone point of technology, but we need to play catch up now, is what I'm saying.
No, we don't literally we don't have that pleasure of that technology thus far. So
no, I agree. We don't have that pleasure, but we do have the pleasure of being able to give people SASA cards where you can load money onto them. Don't have to stand in line. We do have the technology to have WhatsApp cell-free number. People can say, these are my details. Here's my proof of registration, my proof of address, my proof of identity. We need food. I can't phone you and spend 10 hours speaking to you, but please let me know. So what I'm saying is that we need to start implementing basic technology solutions.
Perhaps Nick, it would be very nice if he, on this, while he's still online, try and all of those numbers that I just posted on the group and call them straight away while you still hold, and get to see how much frustration you can get out of that. Because this is exactly the point that we're trying to raise here. To say it was a good idea to have the numbers, but obviously at one time there's so many people that's going to look for assistance in terms of food parcels, which means they're going to be experiencing high intensity number of volumes of calls. So the issue is, what is the second option regarding that matter? Wouldn't it be nicer if then the system was developed to such an effect that even those calls that just dialed and died along the way, that never got picked up, they could actually be reflecting in their system, so they can literally call them back as to say that we see you, we tried to call us, how can we help you? You see what I mean?
Forward something in the group. Your message hasn't come through, sir, but I've got something here for Ward 87 food relief.
Give it a try. Just dial that number and see what's going to happen. There's actually quite a number of them. Just check on the group. I just posted on the group. There is one that I just sent. I can actually give you one from me for. Let me see if I can get to one for Gauteng. Can I give you the one for Gauteng? So you can try it.
I won't be able to make a phone call out here because the phone I'm using at the moment for the podcast.
Okay.
Don't see a number yet.
So the one that I just sent in, it never came in.
But can you repost it?
Okay, let me see if I can resend it again. The number is coming through. It's actually a SASA number, but it's got all province numbers.
But have you tried phoning now on a Sunday?
I did. It was actually, there is the voice note that's coming in there. Literally, that voice note doesn't take you nowhere. You end up cutting up the phone because then it's not taking you anywhere.
It's for the Northwest that you.
Did you see it there? I just posted one there on the group.
No, so they're coming in.
Are they not coming in?
Ian, you still here with us?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
No, we can hear you. So I've got here from 13. West. I think we must also consider the fact that the guys that are these numbers, they might also be around. Today is now Sunday, so maybe it's safe. I think what you need to do for us, Kumza, is to next time you find the number, you can have your voice recorder on.
Let me give you the number for Gauteng. I've got it on my.
Is it 0?
I don't know which province. Which province do you prefer to get? So that tell me which province do you want to get, and then I can actually give you the one that you're actually looking for.
Posted all the numbers here for food parcel tax from Eastern Cape, Free State, Gauteng, KZN. Well,
Is that a social relief of distress, no?
This is something that I found on Twitter.
All right, hang on. Let me give you the one for Gauteng.
I can ask you. I've got the number. It's 011 241 8324.
What's the number there? Come again.
011 241 8324.
No, that's another one. This is a different one. This is a 0800 number.
Send the numbers. Let's send them all.
All right, I'll try and send them right away. I think I did distribute them on the group for the third time now. I'm sure they should be appearing somewhere.
From what I'm seeing on Twitter here, there is an official SASA number. It's 080. I mean 0800 601011. But then there's a social relief of distress. So they've got one.
Yes, that's
from SASA. So this is from the government here that they tweeted it.
yeah, it is.
So this is what government is sending. I think what we need to do, and the podcast isn't the right place to do it, but all right, someone needs to just phone and test it out. Or we need to get people that have either had their food delivered or not delivered through voice notes. So what I'm saying is that
In that case, I have people that have tried to call the number that those phones they actually never worked.
because this is what government is sending out here.
Yeah.
Just to see. So I'm just ask has anyone had any luck with these numbers? So I'm going to say says the is working as it should. Okay, so that's in the group. So we discussed that. I think that's something to keep an eye on. But there's nothing new in the news yet. But on the 17th of April, Independent Online said we are denied full parcels as we're not South African. I think there's a bit of xenophobia that might arise from the food parcel issue as well. People feel that. So let's hope.
All right. I think it's there on the group. The numbers are there on the group now.
Yeah, put it there.
I just sent on the group. I'm saying for the second time now. I see it's appearing on the group.
Yeah, same one.
See,
But I think there is a WhatsApp support number there at 0600 number 124456.
yeah.
So
And the KZN has got a WhatsApp number as well.
but no, I'm talking about the WhatsApp support. It's not based on provinces. Just at the bottom. So it's good place to start. But I mean, what we need to do is also find people on Twitter. Maybe they've sent pictures. Saying, send pictures of their food parcels. Which I've searched for. There are some pictures. The food parcels, they don't look the same. They seem to be different. People doing different things. Even Gift of the Givers are doing it.
Yeah, the long
They
started.
use parent food parcels in Google, and it says you have NC Parliament. Please respond. There's another one here that says Bitterbeck. You see, this is the nice thing about Twitter is that we don't have to phone them. We'll probably get the same results, but we can see what citizen journalists are actually saying. There's this guy, Bitterbeck.co.za. I'm beyond words. State that it's perfectly okay with forcing people to be affected. Starve at home while stepping down the full might of the law on anyone daring to deliver food while this is in Ludwig, remain silent. So there's more to the story. Saying is that there's a guy complaining, and I'm send the link. He's complaining on Twitter where he's trying to deliver food and he's being prevented from doing so. So you have to ask, when is the breaking point? People have been saying for a while now, too scared to hunger out, lockdown, etc. So it's very, very dangerous place to put the country. Yeah, City Press, food. So it is food parcel looting scandal from City Press.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, no, the basic necessities like food are going very, very big spark. Unhappiness, smart and resolve this issue. Okay, so one thing I want to do also ask about beyond the ask about our relationship with China. Obviously, South Africa, very good relationship with China. There's the xenophobia that they had, and apparently they've changed it, where they've become very friendly. It's just so interesting. I don't know if you saw on Twitter, Bill Gates was trending at one point. Was so a French doctor, I believe, to test the vaccine in Africa. There's a lot of anger, racism. So it's just sad how the African continent and people have been treated in this pandemic. So that's just something that I've noticed. Recent developments. From what I've seen in China, people have been evicted, forced quarantine in hotels. The narrative is that came out of a wet market from African. So it's just interesting how propaganda has changed from a China perspective, and then also the World Health Organization changed the story. Some people agree with Trump that cutting their funding, they deserve that because they haven't been as transparent. Praise China. I think China have hid a lot of deaths more than anything. I mean, there's a famous clip now of Trump pointing out how the numbers just can't be right with China. You guys think? This was a Twitter, yeah. Trump and China.
Yeah, but speaking of USA, you must be aware that they've actually requested even kids as young as 2 years to put on mask.
The just masks. As I was saying earlier, we might have to wear visors. Public transport is going to be insane to not have social distancing. So an hour ago, News 24 tweeted, Trump said China may have started the coronavirus deliberately. So now South African media are catching up with the international. They've been saying this for the past 2 days now. China lied, people died. It's the hashtag.
Interesting.
But yeah, Trump has also been kind of hinting that he thinks it's bioweapon, man-made. And like I just said, yeah, it's retweeted. News 24, it's on the screen. It's short. I've tweeted. Trump said China may have started the virus deliberately. Like I was saying, the response of the World Health has also been brought into question. But the way Trump, I feel, has been portrayed is that he's been unfair on China in the World Health Organization. I think he also has shown his actions not have been perfect, perhaps, but he has been acting with false information from China. I think the world have been fooled a little bit here, from what I've seen. It's just my personal.
And we have seen this afternoon. We have seen this afternoon. The KZN Premier Sihle Zigalal asking people to stay at home and actually saying they've got to enforce the regulations if people are not adhering because of the high rising number of infections, and corona statistics is actually getting higher in KZN. So you got it there.
Yeah, you're saying SABC is covered in Africa. This is the province will enforce some strict rules. But we're more than halfway through. For him to say this now is a bit silly. It should have been enforced week 1, 2. Now, well into lockdown. People are not listening and not seeing what's happening around the world. It's going to be scary. say,
But again, if you have people that are not adhering to those regulations, surely it is upon his right as a premier to actually spread the word to say, listen, we might be forced to actually enforce these regulations. We're going to try and make some of these areas dead quiet because then people don't want to listen. You've got no reason to see people getting stopped and set only to find that they've got alcohol for the back of their booties. What's that supposed to mean?
I think we must also discuss. You know, say actually, sorry. Hello.
Yes, Nick.
No. You raised the alcohol ban. I think that's such an interesting discussion. Alcohol and cigarettes. Basically.
Yeah, because that's the trend now, Nick. The trend is actually goes one way or another. Now we are more into getting information likely to give us the statistics of the latest update of the corona infections and what vice versa, as compared to the how is it affecting people's life. You know, I totally feel like it should have been actually dealt it in the same way. As much as we get the update, it should also cater to say how much is it impacted people's lives. Because if I remember, I don't think in a normal space someone can just run around on the street and say, I'm looking for food parcels, I'm hungry, when they're not hungry. Surely it's a matter of concern. Maybe at the same time, as much as they can give feedback to what is happening, really they should be actually engaging as to how much is this corona actually affecting people's lives from ground level. Maybe then we can take it from there. Otherwise, then we cannot overlook people's complaints to say we're looking for food, we don't have food, but at the same time, we are able to give them an update to say this province has got so much latest results, this is what we have now, as opposed to the other way around.
Well, I mean, I'm just also Googling the food parcel numbers not working. So I Google. Food parcel is not working. I'm putting it in here. And there's a lot of issues here. Western Cape government response to food parcel debacle, not enough COVID food parcels, government inundated with requests. That might be a reason why the numbers are not working. You said it earlier, is that there's too much demand. Too much demand, not enough hands, and yeah, it's very.
But then wouldn't it be then that's the right time to get back to Citizen and say the way these lines have been designed, we did not anticipate such high numbers of volume. Therefore, this is the second option that people can get on, and then probably doing some kind of like amendments, like we have seen now that people can allowed to call plumbers, people are allowed to call mechanics to fix their cars, people are allowed to go to nearby hardware to buy a globe and stuff like that. Wouldn't that should make sense? Because really, honestly speaking, why should that be left aside as opposed to should be looked up into?
Look, I think there's so many things that have been. So many. Let me give you something from my business. I've got 2 international guests at the 2 are on a working visa here, and that will eventually run out. But they stuck here. The one gentleman is not worried; he can work anywhere for himself. But the 2 younger gentlemen, they are another corporate. You know, their families back home. They and they're working from home. They working from home way before lockdown. But you know, being able to repatriate people back into home countries from South Africa, and they've started doing it, getting people back into South Africa. So there's so many ground level issues that government have just not even considered. And I'm talking from the tourist industry.
Mm.
Yeah, imagine that you certainty of how to get back home. They're in a different boat where they can buy their food and so on. So where I'm just getting to, government has to take into consideration all issues that they should have, from tourism, from basic needs of its citizens, to its neighbors in Zimbabwe. How are we going to update regulations for lockdown? Which is where you're going at. That I think there needs to be some kind of provincial discussion from a city discussion, from so where people can log into like this session here, right? Or from a ward councillor. I'm in a WhatsApp group with our ward councillor, where she could pose a survey monkey. What are your issues? Give it here, and then the people that are supposed to be working that aren't doing too much, but they have a job, they can then go through this data and then break it up per small section and get the themes from those sections, get citywide, provincial wide. So it is possible. I think it is possible to have these discussions from ground level. And I think it should start from maybe your street level. Have a representative of the street, goes up to the next level, the suburb, goes up to the next level, the ward, and so on and so forth. And these are things that we can discuss further. But I also think that there's one more topic that I wanted to ask about. Okay, so Reuters has just tweeted here that Zimbabwe extends coronavirus lockdown. Can go back to what that. But last night they had the Global Citizen concert, which I think it's a nice sentiment. But that time, that effort would have gone towards solving issues that we discussed, all the ground level stuff. For me, seeing celebrities sing how tough they having situation that they're in, I think is interesting, but not as important as the voiceless people that like you're saying now, going to try and find food parcels. People are more focused on that. There was a second trend after lockdown party, which I think is very interesting. But I've noticed on Twitter, Saturday evening, Friday evening, people are still in party, socially distancing. But these minor issues, they only come out, not minor issues, all these ground level issues, they only come out during the week. But then people go back into party mode by the weekend. It's just a cycle. No solution. I agree. A government should have I joke about it, but I'm actually quite serious about it. If government are having Zoom meetings, how can we not have Zoom meetings with citizens? Why couldn't you have Zoom meeting with citizens? Raise the issues, and try to come up with common problems. Like, okay, these are the common problems. It's happening in these provinces. How do we solve it? I'm not sure why government's not sad, but I think it is possible. Now, I'm impressed with the president. He's very good with live streaming on Twitter. So when he's speaking, you don't have to tune into TV. Just go directly to his account, and the sound quality is good, video quality is good. Not two-way communication, but one-way direct access to the president, which I think is maybe the first president to go to this level.
Yeah, I agree. Because one thing for sure, Nick, it cannot only just be government alone. People need to do their part. Everybody needs to do their bit. We cannot just be saying government must do that, government must do that. Well, what are we doing?
I agree with you.
So the point is I'm trying to make is the little that we do actually makes whatever government is doing quite perfect. But if we do total opposite, which means we're not going nowhere. Because I don't see a reason why if I've got to go to a shop and try and get myself a packet of milk, why should I take my kid with to the shops at this point in time? So those are the kind of things that we need to see to ourselves, as to say it is our responsibility to say we can't just expect to be told to do 1 in 3s. And some of these regulations existence starting from now, it looks like they can actually become a way of life is forever going. Because, for instance, if you think you need to get government to tell you to wash your hands every time you feel they're dirty, then you are obviously quite very wrong. So what I'm suggesting is probably some of these regulations, surely they're going to become a way of life as time goes on. They actually make sense anyway. A very good example. Yes.
It's already becoming a way of life.
Yeah.
But it's becoming a way of life in our homes. To see how it's becoming a way of life outside next step.
Yeah.
I think that's why they were saying towards the end of the week that there's going to be a gradual release of lockdown. But as soon as lockdown ends, the cases are going to go up again. I think going to go back to lockdown.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because if you listened last night, what Minister of Health was saying, he was saying actually the numbers that are actually coming out now. Actually, there was a question that was actually passed on to say, would it be easier to have the test results being actually done faster than the rate that is being done now? Like after 3 days, you get the results. Because in this case, somebody gets tested now and just being requested to go home and self-quarantine. The next thing, the guy, boom, goes to Limpopo. And the result, when they come after 3 days, the guy is already in Limpopo. How many people do you have met there in Limpopo? That's a problem. So the question would be, if then the government decides to try and get the results as quick as possible, say the least 24 hours, depending on the laboratories' abilities that we have. But surely that's one thing that I must focus on. Because therefore, if I'm going to wait for results that are going to come after 3 days, even if you're going to call me and ask me where have I been to in these 3 days, I won't even remember some of the spaces and some of the time that I've been to petrol station, whatever, shop or wherever. So those are the challenges that we see now that are actually facing people that are actually trying to remember when was the last time they went to a shop after having been asked to do self-quarantine, because you not everybody has a good memory. You know what I mean? Plus, again, the situation in which people are being, if supposing you just get a result that says you are positive, there should be that anxiety of a panic by then to say, oh my goodness, how do you then expect the very same person to come out with a very strong mentality to divulge who has he spoken to, which church did he go to, who did you meet, and stuff like that? So that actually on its own is a very big challenge, you know. So probably the easiest way should be the results must be done and brought up quite very quick, so that at least trying to close down the gap between the testing and the results, so that those that are found positive, they should be simply quickly traced and stopped in terms of transmitting to the next person.
that's what Taiwan is doing. Did it really well. But, no, you're right. But the testing, I think, it's not as simple as them giving it to you immediately. I think it's longer than 3 days that you're mistaken. It's quite a long way for testing.
Yeah, I know, but that's where exactly I'm trying to say. Perhaps that's the one point there where we need to get our government to focus on, and to say maybe if there is a way that the testing results can be brought in a little bit faster or earlier than the time that it takes now, perhaps that could give us a very better results, a better understanding of to say who must stay home, who must not move around, who must not go to the shops. You see what I mean? Unlike if then the results takes like a week. In a week's time, somebody would have gone to 3 different shops, probably. Even if you want to try and ask him, who did he meet, where, which till did he buy, which till did he pay your groceries, you won't even remember some of these. Those are the very critical elements, because therefore you will be actually trying to trace exactly the trend of that particular person, where has it been to, so that at least then you know exactly what you're looking for. So how then do you say you're trying to get to trace, try and cap this spread? We need to know exactly who we're dealing with.
Don't you think that's already happened though, with people going to funerals? It's already happened.
Yeah, it is. It's already happening, but then now, which means we actually doing the right thing, but at a very later stage. So it's like what was supposed to have been done 3 weeks ago is only being done now. So which means that's the pace that we're running on, to say, even if people are asked to go and get screened to the nearest these people that are screening, some people don't even go there because they don't feel sick. They don't know why they must go there. Some they're scared. What if I go there and get told, oh, well, what the high temperature? You see stuff like that. Yeah, there's
stigma that comes with it as well. People don't want to be stigmatized.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a big thing, especially in the rural area. Like,
yeah,
it's quite, and I think this is what I was trying to say, is that instead of us focusing on concerts with Lady Gaga and all that nonsense, we should surely be focusing on these issues that we're discussing.
true.
Ground level issue. It is,
Yeah,
instead of trying to entertain people, how do you make it so that they can get what they need without leaving? Because I think you're 100% right. You're going to have to test people to see if they need to be quarantined. But that's also a massive challenge, being able to get people to behave, come for tests, and all this. Where I'm saying is that maybe the better approach is, why don't we say to people, this is a stream of communication, and give us what your problems are, so that we can find out what commonalities are from ground level. And now I'm repeating myself.
yeah,
Without that intelligence gathering and information gathering, providing solutions from the top down, and you see it in corporates often, that managers want to implement a solution, but when the solution comes and the people that are implementing, they see how effective or ineffective the solution is. And I mean, that's part of knowledge management, is that if you want to not lose how the experience of that player has gained, how much experience that player has gained, you want to retain the knowledge in others. So if you've given him a computer to work and send emails, he has a system of how he goes through the emails and updates the emails, the calendar, and all stuff. That person leaves, and then someone else has to access those emails. They're going to have to learn how, or figure out of that person's knowledge that they're left with.
mm.
It's such a unique situation, and luckily we do have things like social media, WhatsApp, so on, communicate, because in previous situations like that, people were stuck at home I had no newspaper, radio, other stuff.
Yeah.
So, what I'm getting at is that difference between now and then might be the solution to ground level issues. And I mean, this is what this podcast is about. Being able to get people in the newsroom, it's the newsroom involved, but also getting outsiders to send us info, and we can also dissect it. Because, like you're saying, testing those numbers is one thing. We can say, yeah, it didn't work for us. But if we can get 10 people on Twitter saying the same thing, and we can just DM them and say, give us more information. It gives a more three-dimensional view of what's happening.
And it gives you a total understanding of how much people do they understand this pandemic. Because some people just don't understand. Remember, some places, some people have chased out these volunteers and people that are coming to screen them. They say, listen here, you can't be screened. We are the people that's got coronavirus. So get out of our face. We don't want to hear. Why would people do such things? It's simply because people just don't have the knowledge. They don't have the know-how. They don't have total information around the issue. Maybe it's a case where we've got people left out in some cases, because you can't have people chasing out health workers to say, listen, cannot come to screen us. We don't want you here. Go away. It did happen. Look around somewhere. Yeah. So that tells you it's a level of misunderstanding. There's people that just, if not ignorance, it's people just don't understand exactly. They don't have a headache. They're not sick. Why must they be screened? And see, all they hear is certain hospital have got high numbers of health workers tested positive. So these are the people that are coming to us again. See,
not that. I mean, the prisoners that are also affected now. I imagine that they closed areas. So imagine how quickly that will spread in. But in terms of it's called asymptomatic when you don't show the symptoms but you're positive. But I've also been looking at YouTube. There are a couple of doctors that also debate how the coronavirus test is done, and it's not testing for the virus, but it's testing for secondary thing that happens from the virus. But the problem is that secondary thing can happen from stress and fear and other things. So what I'm saying is that are we aware of false positives? Because I know there are false negatives that happen. In other words, people test negative and then they don't actually have the disease. What I'm saying is it not possible that there are circumstances where people are tested positive that actually don't have it? I haven't heard anything like that. I don't know if it's possible. Something also worth looking into to come. But it's going to be very interesting. We haven't heard anything from the AU in a while. No, President started AU last week, Trevor Main, a few other people. So from a continental perspective, it's going to be very interesting how problems are resolved from a high level and a ground level. I think that's the key thing for us is the ground level solution. I think from what I've heard in Zim and in South Africa, there are a couple of issues. I'm glad that freedom of speech is being challenged in Zim, or not being challenged, but people are challenging restrictions on freedom of speech. Rather. So look, it's going to be an unpredictable couple of weeks, and I think both Zim and South Africa will probably extend a lot. That's just my assumption.
Yeah, because remember when lockdown was actually starting on the 27th of March, we never had such high numbers that we have now. So surely that's exactly the direction we're heading to. Because remember, we only had about 61 or something, and we never had any death whatsoever when the lockdown was implemented. Now we're sitting at 52. So what does that
Well,
tell you? Those are the numbers that actually we wanted to avoid when all this lockdown was actually set to start, which
I
we
do,
unfortunately we could not.
if I'm not mistaken, the spike at the moment, that's coming from people 2 weeks before lockdown. I was actually thinking about this point before we started the podcast. So those people are getting sick from before lockdown. But if that theory is true, and I don't know if it is or not, but if that theory is true, that would mean that there should be a massive decline if lockdown is working. Because I agree with what you're saying, but the explanation that I've heard is that the sudden spike is that the people that were infected before lockdown started. But then it goes back to your point from earlier, is that these people now isolated with other people that are maybe getting sick, be it your family, as me. But then this the tests being done to this family to know that okay, they might be asymptomatic, they might be showing the symptoms, but this family or this group of people need to isolate because they all have it. They go out and they interact with 10 people each. That's 10 times people that will get infected.
Because now as we speak now, the numbers have just gone up again. Now we're sitting at 3,158 cases as we speak now, and with 54 death cases. You see what this is a concern. This is exactly a big concern. Yesterday we had an increase of about 143 something. So now we're sitting at 3,158 COVID-19 cases as we speak. These are the breaking news that just came in now. So from what you heard last night, you see the numbers are not, the numbers don't lie. So what we were just saying earlier on to say, probably the extension is imminent.
No, I'll be more surprised if it doesn't continue. That I'll be more surprised if it doesn't continue. But yeah, I got you. Thank you. 51 seconds, SABC. I think you were before them. If you watching
Yeah,
TV, but the number of COVID in South Africa is 3,100.
158.
And I mean, it was even a week ago that it was just reaching 2,000.
Exactly.
That's just scary.
Yeah, so you remember from the onset, from what the president was actually saying, it actually meant this is exactly what we were trying to avoid. But in a way, it somewhere it looked like when Professor Karim was actually giving the statistics, it looked like some of these things were actually dealt at the right time, especially people coming from overseas, these tourists and stuff like people going in and out of the country. It actually did stabilize. But remember, their target was if they keep the numbers at least below 69 per day, it would actually mean to take us to a much better direction. But then the numbers are looking, yesterday we were sitting at 143. Today, if we subtract that number from this 3,158, it's actually more than that again. So which means, honestly, there's a lot to be done. Someone needs to do something somewhere. And if this is the case of having the results coming a little bit later than they expected, surely the nation need to know, is it the results that are actually coming from the tests that were done as of how long ago? Supposedly, if these results are actually coming from patients that were tested 3 weeks ago, surely it should ease people's mind. But if it is the result that were tested 4 days ago, surely it's a very scary number. It's quite too high.
Scary. So I'm just searching something. Just want to see where is it. eat.
While you're searching there, Nick, I needed to also get the clarity if anybody has the information as to is it true to say those that have actually tested positive and recovered now they are immune to this coronavirus? They're not going to get it anymore.
They mentioned that, and
is it possible? I don't get it there, but I'm not too sure if I've got a very loose head over that. But surely I need a very clear explanation because this is just a virus. Take for instance a normal flu. You can have a flu today and dies on a Friday. Next Wednesday you have another flu, which is exactly how you get it. Supposing it's still around your area. So why then this coronavirus you can have it now and then we can get to.
I think that point, and I know it was made by whoever said it. It's in South Africa. I think they're wrong because I've heard of stories, China, where people that have recovered, they get it again. So what you're saying is 100% correct. From what I've seen internationally, don't become immune to it. Maybe your body is stronger to fight it off. But I've heard of people that have gotten better, gotten sick, and in fact, what happens in China is that they don't count these people, keep their numbers. People like that. So it does happen from my understanding. I don't know if you know the podcaster Joe Rogan, and you were saying, there is so little information actually known about it. Once you move from it, does it stay with you for life? Other diseases, you have it, then it's like damage your lungs. It's in your body forever. We pass it on. We don't know this. Maybe questions we're asking find the answers because I think the most dangerous thing at the moment, the fear and unknown of what is it, where is it, are we not going to be able to because of it? There's all these basic human necessities that are at threat because of a simple virus. It also just shows you that you're not on the top of the food chain.
Yeah, because we're talking of a virus here. Why would you have a virus now when it's done, when you recover, then people can clarify to say, no, now we're done, you're not going to get it. What's the science that's hidden that people just don't understand there? Maybe someone must give us a clear picture there, because therefore, surely then therefore, people will be made to relax and say, oh, well, I'm done with this corona, I had this virus last month. So why should I be indoors? Or either way, you know what I mean? So it tells it. It's a worrying mentality that has to be built into people's brain to say if it is true that once you recover from the corona, then you are immune to it from the near future. I don't think so.
I mean, why would they be pushing a vaccine so badly? And I'm referring to that French doctor, Bill Gates. The idea of a vaccine has been pushed a lot by a lot of people.
And again, these numbers, when you look at the numbers, now we're talking about 3,158. And then we're talking about the recovered numbers. Does it also include the recovered numbers, including the one that are in the hospitals? What's the clarity there? Does anybody have an answer to that to say 3,158, these are the cases that we have now, cases of people that have tested positive, including those that have recovered or excluding them, plus including that they've just passed away on similar cases. Because yesterday the minister was saying we have about 41 to 46 patients that are actually in IC unit, meaning
So
we've got, yes. So what are the statistic balancing? How do we balance the statistics? Is this number that includes the whole sequence, like the recovered, the positivity, and the one that are actually on ICU?
So the figures here that I'm looking at, COVID-19 statistics in the 19th of April, unknown 40 confirmed cases, 3,008 tests conducted, 114,711, 54 deaths. So provincially, Eastern Cape has had 4 deaths and recoveries. Free State, 4 deaths, 71 recoveries. Gauteng, 6 deaths, 479 recoveries. KZN, 22 deaths, 96 recoveries.
Is that the latest? Is that the latest one?
Yeah, I've sent it in the group. Linked it as well.
But you get my question now. My question is also going back the same thing that to say the 3,158 cases coronavirus that we have now as the breaking news. Does this include those that are actually intensive care unit and those that are actually on self-quarantine and those that have tested positive?
I think these are the people that the government knows. What I'm saying is that I think more people that are infected. So when they say confirmed cases, it means that they've been tested and proved positive. In other words, there are other people out there that have not been tested. They have the symptoms. They don't want to go and go to a doctor, etc. Or they can't get to a doctor because of lockdown. Whatever the case may be. Fear is preventing them from going to a doctor. But I think the numbers that we see, the numbers that are known. So there is they say unknown 42, but I think that unknown is far bigger. I think it's far bigger. There's a case in the US that I'm just thinking of now, where this young student on Instagram, she posted that she may have had the COVID-19, diagnosed by doctors because of the symptoms, etc. She posted it on her Instagram. She told all her school friends that they must go and check themselves out. And she was actually visited by police, her and her parents, to take the Instagram post down. And the family, they opened a lawsuit against the police because of freedom of speech. So I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but that's something that I hope we will never have to face, is with police are coming to take us for tests, intimidate us. In China, what they did, they locked people in their homes and welded the door shut, basically, trapping. And back to the numbers. In China, apparently, cremation businesses, they were working, from some videos that I've watched, 14 days, so many bodies, and this is why they're saying there's been a lack of transparency. So beyond that, back to South Africa, I personally think that these numbers are just statistics based on the tests. And where you come in is that I think there are far more people that have been in contact with people. They might be asymptomatic, so therefore they're not showing symptoms. However, they are able to pass it on to their children, their parents, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, look, there's a lot to worry about, a lot to discuss. future podcasts, because I don't think this is obviously the end of this discussion.
Yeah.
No, and
No, there's
I
quite
don't
a
think
lot.
it,
There's quite a lot. But
no,
it does empower everybody. You at least you learn as you go. You know, unlike there's some other element of questions that don't get dealt with at the right time.
no,
Remember, not everybody has TVs by now. At one time, you miss some of these things, but if you get to have platforms where people engage over matters that are actually making trends, which means we all learning, nobody's being left out. You know what I mean?
That's exactly why that whole anti-fake news, throwing people in jail, I think is a dangerous way for us to see things. Because what you just said is how we should approach it, is to have some kind of open discussion. This is what I heard. Is this news true? Is it false? I'd like to
verify your sources and stuff like
this is what the new our Netizen newsroom is all about, is to look at the news, verify the sources, and the mainstream media also publish false information.
Yeah. But now there is this prison spread of corona cases as well. You get to wonder whether these are people that just got thrown into prisons now, or this is something that took place just a while ago, because somebody from the prison need to give us a breakdown as to these numbers, these figures, what are they based on? Because then we then get to think that maybe then it was obvious most of the prisoners, they don't go out. So which means it is those that are coming from outside to inside, if not the prisoner warders themselves.
Let me ask you this: the people that are being thrown into prison that are healthy, they come out with coronavirus. Is it the best thing to be throwing people into prison who could get sick?
Are there any?
I don't know if there are any, but if there are you not putting yourself at risk?
There wouldn't be any. If in this case there wouldn't be any. Remember, also prisons are also at a high focus point. So which means even those that are going out of prison now, even if those that are cases are done or they've done their jail term, surely they must go through the same pace. As much as those that are caught outside the street breaking the regulations of the coronavirus regulations, being thrown into prison, I don't think they're just being thrown into wolves where there is like prisoners that have been there for like 7 months. Probably there should be some kind of like isolation where you got to be in a certain space and then get checked or screened, and then therefore
it's better to house arrest. You say to people, okay, you've broke, instead of throwing them into prison, give them a warning. You say, if you leave your property again, you're going to prison. Because I will always say, and they post it on social media, that the prisons are unhygienic. So, I think Posmo has, let me double check. Prisoners test positive. Test positive. South Africa. So I'm just searching this quick. Yeah, 26 prisoners, officials test positive for COVID, East London.
Officials.
26 prisoners and officials test positive.
And officials.
So what I'm getting at is that prison isn't the healthiest place if you want to protect people from COVID-19. Is it the best thing to say to them, you've broken lockdown regulations, now we're going to put you in a place where you're going to get might get a disease that we apparently protect.
I don't think it's a case of prisons themselves. It should be even police cells. When police cells, you've got like 20 people in one cell, how do you justify that there's not going to be a spread of any disease, let alone the corona? Because therefore, I don't think people can be chucked into those cells today and get screened today. Who has that capacity? And who does that? And who does not give out the record to say, well, the 1,000 that they've been arrested on the roadblock, they just got screened as they reached this. These are the statistics. And I have never heard of that. So which means it's another gray area that needs to be checked on as well.
14 minutes from RT, Spanish police officers have been placed under investigation for repeatedly pointing guns at 2 women. Video was shot in Lisbon, in Spain, Saturday after a man was placed under arrest for allegedly violating the nationwide lockdown. And yeah, the police are beating up, and they seem to be of but yeah, look, there's worldwide issues. Just
but as it stands, are these regulations very difficult to adhere to? I don't think they are. Given the circumstances around this corona thing, I don't think they're difficult to adhere to. Surely something must be very. Not.
I 100% agree that they are difficult to, not difficult to adhere.
So why are people breaking them up?
But I do think it is difficult to take rights away from people. What I mean by that is that people feel that under democratic South Africa, they've gotten used to being able to walk around any time of the day when they want, to drink, to smoke, to do all of these things. And when your freedoms are taken away, obviously you aren't going to like it. If you think back at school, there's always been those students that will test the teacher, how far they can push the teacher before the teacher gets angry, loses their calmness, and they disrupt the class. That's the goal of the student. So maybe these people, those students that are trying to push the authority figure to see how far they can get away. That to me
but then does that mean then our people just don't see what is upon us now? It's like a bigger picture. Surely everybody should be, it's all up and clear for everybody to understand and see. The updates are done almost each and every day. TVs are playing these visuals each and every 3, 4, 5 times. As much as you switch on the TV, all you see is corona as compared to any other news. So how much then does it have to be pushed through your ears? So that
use
this was honestly
example. If a student can see that his marks are not that great, but he continuously misses class and pushes the teacher and so on and so forth, misbehaves, the same question can be asked: why would that student continuously do stupid things, prevent him from advancing his future? I think it's a similar, not the same, but a similar mindset. That people are unwilling, unable to, see the bigger picture and be able to, think of the greater good. Unfortunately, most South Africans, not South Africans, most human beings are self-serving more than else.
But I could imagine if you imagine this kind of cases that just dropping in now could be at one time said to be, they are now happening in this informal settlement. What do you foresee out of that? On a simply scale of your mind, if at one time it says absolute, there's like 12 cases.
I think there's going to be a point where South Africans are going to band together, similar to e-tolls. Different people from different backgrounds united against e-tolls, and they were against the idea of tolls being implemented. I think something similar is going to happen. People are going to be mobilized. Whether it will be as peaceful as e-tolls, that's another question. There was an open letter written a few weeks ago, I forget the lady's name, addressed to the president. She was talking about Marikana too. In fact, Marikana started trending on Twitter after that. I think is a worst case scenario. The people that are pushed to such a level that they will start doing scary things. Upset the police and the military, that violence could happen. It could happen. I'm not saying it will, but must be very careful how people are pushed in. However, when there was going to be a taxi strike a few weeks ago, it was called off because of fears of social distancing. So I think the vast majority of South Africans actually understand and respect the lockdown. They're just the naughty boy or girl in the class that wants to the teacher, see where they can, how far they can push the teacher. So that's just my thought.
But there is another issue that came in now to say mines are actually going to start operating at 50%. What was the logic behind that? Because from what I know, mines have got high volumes of workers that goes down underground in quite number of high numbers.
I would assume it's for the economy
versus people's health. Is that what you say?
Look, I think there are economic and financial reasons behind it. That's the only way I can describe it. Why it is happening exactly, I can't say. But I think that it always will boil down to money. There's no doubt in my mind. It comes down to money, profit.
Yeah, but do you have any idea how many people are going to get down to a shift in a mine? Say, for instance, Anglo Ashanti mine, getting down
on 702 on saying that how do people practice social distancing? How is it possible to practice social distancing? You are stuck on a mine, or not on a mine, but underground. Around how practice social distancing. So now look, there are a couple of major issues that I think government haven't considered that pop up. Especially what I'm going to be very interested in is when they start relaxing it, allowing people to go out. I think the new normal, as I dub it, is going to be, as you pointed out, people are not going to listen. If people are going to do silly things, adjusting to the new environment of the lockdown is going to be a challenge for many South Africans on various levels.
Yeah, because you can even look at the alcohol thing. People are saying, why can't we be allowed to buy or sell alcohol at least 2 hours during the day? I mean, it's not an essential service from where I'm sitting. Why alcohol? Obviously, everybody knows what alcohol does, and people get drunk. I mean, accidents happen. Plus, it actually there's so many family quarrels and all can name them out of alcohol. So why would people then? What's the reason behind people saying no? At least let alcohol be allowed to be sold at a certain time and get closed at a certain time.
Worry about people socializing. The alcohol might make people want to too social. However, I do think it's a bit sad that you can't take alcohol home and enjoy it at home. Private environment. What I mean by that is that it's a bit concerning that you know, when you're a child, you get grounded if you're naughty, and all your privileges get taken. You can't play TV games, you can't watch TV, you can't do whatever. You can't go see your friends. There's no dessert for you, whatever. So what I'm saying is that it's a bit scary in a sense that people are limited to make that choice under democracy. The logic, I think, should have been explained from the beginning instead of someone saying no alcohol, it's illegal, and if I had my way, I would extend this the alcohol prohibition indefinitely.
But what is the
So
bigger picture? What is the bigger picture? What are we up to now? What are we trying to achieve? This is the one thing that must sit in each and everybody's brain to say, what are we trying to achieve? Let alone taking out the rights. What are we trying to achieve?
personal opinion is all social engineering. How do you push people into a certain direction? Make that. I'm also thinking that all economies are being slowed down. I think China is restarting and let's see if that what happens this week. But even the US president is worried about the economy getting it started. He's been saying by Easter, and obviously he's been wrong. And whether you like him or not, you know, I don't think he wants the economy to fail because by heart he's an American businessman. He fully believes in the capitalistic system.
But the truth is, we can't compare ourselves with some of these countries at the present time. We can't. Maybe we can say let's try and learn from them, but not actually compare ourselves to them because they have the capacity, they have the resources to deal with any situation at any given time. Anything that happens, they can probably jump at any pace that you can't try even in any given days, not even in months. So why don't you see things that way and say, look, maybe China.
I'm gonna make the argument that if I look at you look at India, right? They've come a long way where there's still a lot of poor people. They've got the caste system. They've got their own form of discrimination in the country where you're born into a higher or lower caste. To become a maybe not a superpower, but a global power where people can recognize their skills, etc. So they are a unique situation, yes, but they're a nice country for us to maybe learn from to say, how did they do it? Where they came from an oppressive background, you know, they were colonized. Mahatma Gandhi came from India to South Africa, but they were able to push to a level where the economy is now globally competitive. So I think, obviously, the unique circumstances in this country, one of them being my personal, a lack of internet access has been probably the biggest hurdle for modernization in the country, especially in rural areas.
So in other ways, it would be nice to learn from them, but don't want to live like them or don't want to do what they do. It would be nice to be either very. It's quite to learn from what they do what they do. Those are two different things.
Ian's left us.
Oh, okay. Actually, then, yeah, see, it's popped out.
It's 8 o'clock already. On over 2 hours. But I think what we need to do is redo this podcast every Sunday. Not redo it, but make it a weekly thing, 5:30 Sundays. Get more people involved and also follow up on some of these things. I think we've made some very interesting points.
It's fine by me. Makes sense. Yeah, it is. It's quite a very
But
good platform.
let's chat offline. We'll pick up things next week, but plan this a bit better and try to get more people involved. But it was very nice to have Ian, because we can
Yep.
say that our podcast was beyond the South Africans.
Yes, it was quite nice.
Enjoy the rest of your evening, sir. See you.
Same to you, man.
Yeah, no, thank you for your time.
I hope
appreciate it.
I hope it's on YouTube as it is.
No, it's all live stream. All live stream.
Oh, okay.
It's all live stream.
All right,
All going.
I'm gonna replay it just after this.
Thank you, sir, for your time again.
Okay, thanks. Same pleasure.
Okay. See you soon.
Okay, then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.